My name is Akil Atheny. Today we are going to listen the first chapter 1. You are a product, from the rudest book ever. The author of national bestseller The Rudest Book Ever, is a novelist, public speaker, and professional problem solver. Let me give you an introduction of the world you have been brought into. The world doesn't give a flying fuck about you. This world is a place full of people that will come in the form of friends, lovers and well-wishers, in the form of emotional adhesives, neatly packaged dreams and aspirational lollipops, in the form of saviors, fixers and salespersons. We are going to talk about them all. Anyway, when the time comes, a lot of them will take complete advantage of you, rid you of your emotional innocence and turn your world upside down. It will most definitely happen. History tells you that, no matter who you are or what you do, rich, talented, genius, pretty, strong, powerful, polite, kind, or careful. So, do you feel prepared? Let's start with you. You are a product. You are a product with hope attached to it. What does that mean? It means that, one day, you are meant to become this awesome, functional unit capable of choosing jobs, careers, relationships, environments and economies on your own volition. That's the hope. The better the choices, the better the product you are. That's the simple law on the basis of which the world judges you. So, here are a few things about you. A person is not born ready. A person has to be made ready. The person is emotional in nature. The person does not know how to learn in the beginning, it knows how to absorb, which means it learns whatever it absorbs from its surroundings. I am talking about when you were a kid. The person has to learn how to learn. The person can think, but does not know how to think, which is why it cannot learn how to learn. This may be confusing, but it will become clear later in the book. A person's emotional responses to different experiences create interpretations of those experiences, which the person assumes to be true. Therefore, emotional responses become one of the earliest teachers of the person. Emotional responses is a garbage teacher, because as a kid, the emotional intelligence is underdeveloped. Because the person learns by absorption, the parents and surroundings become the other teachers. Instead of teaching the person how to think, parents and surroundings teach what to think, thereby becoming terrible teachers themselves. Teaching what to think stops the product from learning how to think, and since the person doesn't learn how to think, it grows up to be confused and clueless regarding how to deal with this world. In conclusion, the product is very likely to be screwed. The product is you. Nobody is born an idiot. You may have said this on many occasions in your life. People are fucking idiots. But nobody is born an idiot. We unknowingly choose to be idiots. Because we are not taught the methodologies of how to think. When devoid of this knowledge, people unconsciously view what they have learned from parents, surroundings and emotional responses as factual learnings. As you grow older and life becomes harder, without the ability of how to think, one naturally falls back on what one knows, which strengthens these factual learnings even more, so much so that at a certain age, they can become unchangeable ideas, biases, prejudices and practices that the individual can no longer abandon. Now, you may be thinking, what the fuck is he talking about? Factual learnings? How to think? What to think? Here's an example. Imagine growing up in a place where you only interacted with people of one group. Now, also imagine this group of people having a very strict, single belief system, strict ideologies and strict doctrines on morality, how to live your life, what's decent and what's not. Now, on top of that, also imagine that they have notions which are not so kind about people of other groups, or other belief systems, or even about women. When you teach the children to think exactly like that, it would be called teaching somebody what to think. Makes sense? If you are growing up with such teachings, those would be called factual learnings, because they may appear factual to you, but aren't necessarily so. They are based on fear and ignorance. So, with time, when they are not corrected by verification, these factual learnings become factual truths to people. Factual truths means they are incontestable to those who believe them, and they most probably will die by them. And once you believe something that strongly, you become its avid defender. Once we become defenders, we become groups. Once we become groups, we disagree with other groups, and fight, and vote, and celebrate, and denigrate on behalf of whichever ideas align most closely to our factual truths. On people who are taught how to think and people who are taught what to think, these are the results. A person brought up on what to think tends to follow ideas, ideologies and ways of living that echo a relationship with familiarity. We do so, because we feel safe with familiarity. Whatever is familiar to you is known to you well. So, you're most comfortable with it. A person brought up on how to think tends to question, filter and may abandon ideas, Ideologies and ways of living that echo a relationship with familiarity. Familiarity, although safe, does not guarantee soundness. A person brought up on what to think tends to feel threatened by alien ideas, things, or people, which may end up pushing them more towards what they know and are familiar with. A person brought up on how to think, when confronted by alien ideas or people, takes an interest in understanding and figuring them out. At the same time, they also inspect the first impressions their mind created. They are not threatened, because practicing how to think over the years creates curiosity and an investigative attitude. Therefore, any person, thing or idea that is alien becomes food for thought. A person brought up on what to think inclines towards asking for solutions for their problems, instead of thinking and finding out things by themselves. This explains the insatiable need for self-help books, the lack of self-reliance, and the explosion of clever people online, teaching people how to be successful, to be a man, a millionaire, a strong woman, smart, clever, slick, handsome and beautiful all at once. The person who knows how to think will try to find solutions for their problems by thinking on their own, using methods of reasoning, with consideration to mental harmony and bringing smoothness in the functioning of their life. To expand the scope of their knowledge, however, they will read books, watch videos and consume all available information. They seek knowledge because knowledge contains perspectives. And the cultivation of how to think requires a collection of as many varied perspectives as one can gather. Lastly, a person who wasn't brought up on what to think still functions just the same as people who were taught what to think. It happens because one can be deprived of parental guidance, but that is only one of the teachers. Their teachers such as surroundings and their emotional responses still teach them what to think. Your parents probably messed up. Why are parents largely producing products that are unprepared to face the challenges of this world? It is a very important question, also a fantastic one. It is both important and fantastic because it sits on the assumptions that all parents want to be parents in the first place. People who become parents are mentally prepared to be parents. People who become parents are mentally fit to be parents. Do you know how many reasons there are for having a child? One can become a parent because the guy forgot to pull out, or the girl out of some ancient, primitive urge, commanded the guy to not pull out, or he believed he had pulled out but the results said otherwise. People have babies because they like babies, or because they have recently been feeling a sense of incompleteness, or because they hope it will make their lives purposeful again. People have babies because they have reached the age society has deemed right to have a baby. People have babies because it appears to be a viable strategy to save their marriage, or because one of the partners wants to have a baby, and the other complies. People have babies so the baby can grow up to fulfill the unfulfilled dreams of either of the parents. There is a great chance that you might have been born from one of those reasons. Ideally speaking, there should be a strategy. You are bringing a fucking life into this world, and that person is gonna grow and contribute in many ways to this world. They are gonna vote, follow ideologies, make people money, which is what a job is, find love, marry, and do a lot of other things, like write shitty poetry in their teens. If they are not a responsible person, they are gonna be hurting a lot of people. And if they grow up to be a douchebag, you are indirectly responsible for hurting all the people that douche is going to hurt. If they grow up to be a follower of ideologies that talk about dividing people, then the parents too are responsible for creating one more follower. Why so many shitty products? The question is, how much forethought goes in the minds of parents before having a baby about the baby? If the prime motivation is, a baby is a cute little thing that will change our lives, well, that is not good enough. There is a high possibility that you're gonna be creating another moron on this planet. A kid ain't gonna figure shit out by themselves. If they are not gonna be able to, then somebody will use that and make them their follower. And that somebody will probably not give as much of a shit about the kid as the parents would. Unfortunately, this is what happens in most cases. People learn shitty ideas from surroundings, parents and their own underdeveloped emotional intelligence. And with this, they enter this world. Now, there is a thing called responsible motivation, which sounds like, we are creating a human. Are we mentally fit and prepared to create a person for whom we will be solely responsible? If not, shall we now start to upgrade our thoughts, perceptions, perspectives, create multiple storages of knowledge, which in time will cater to the young person's curiosities and impact the overall development of its personality? Responsible motivation means parents realizing that they will have one of the strongest influences while the foundation of the personality of the child is being laid. And, to prepare the child, the parents will have to prepare themselves first. Unfortunately, parents on this planet aren't so big on this one. Should all parents be geniuses then? Fuck no, I am not saying that. I realize parents have shit to do. They have jobs, their relationship, finances to manage, and a house to take care of. I realize that they also have to watch television, talk about politics, buy more stuff, make room for the baby, drink tea, fight and argue, battle aging, wrinkles, receding hairlines, declining morning erections, buy even more stuff, satisfy their parents, satisfy their bosses, satisfy their respective partners, say goodbye to their dreams, accept existential insignificance, and so on and so forth. Yes, there is a hint of sarcasm above. In many cases, people don't think they need to learn anything because they assume they already know everything, a very dangerous assumption that comes from a frightening absence of self-awareness. So, they believe they are qualified to teach their kid anything there is to know in this world.